det gør ikke noget. Jeg kommer bare lige ud på verden.
PRB afsted. Godmorgen. Så er vi ind i klassen, så vender vi snudskaftet ind mod klassen. Afsted.
On va commencer avec un certain nombre de questions, surtout pour savoir un peu comment est le paysage danois, avant toute chose. Comment on produit au Danemark et comment particulièrement ils ont réussi à mettre sur pied cette série magnifique. Première chose, je pense que c'est plutôt une question pour Jesper et Karoline, puisque ce sont les deux producteurs. Comment se passe la production aujourd'hui au Danemark, qui est un petit pays, je le rappelle, de 5 millions d'habitants. Combien avez-vous de chaînes d'abord, avant toute chose?
We have 8, 9 channels or something like that, so it isn't that many.
And public and private, des chaînes privées et publiques?
We have one big public channel, which have some small channels under it, and then we have the rest is private. So that's it.
Jesper, do you know how many hours of fiction you are producing by year? Est-ce qu'on peut nous dire combien de séries, d'heures de fiction sont produites au Danemark tous les ans?
Well, I think there is around 2 or 3 series produced every year in Denmark, and it's actually mainly 2 channels producing fiction drama for TV. It's DR, who is a public channel in Denmark, and then it's TV2 Denmark, who is the biggest mainstream channel. And DR has around, I think, 1-2 series each year, and TV2 Denmark normally has 1. They are trying to step it up and are aiming for producing more fiction for TV. So I think we'll be producing around maybe 2 shows each year.
Et vous avez, comme nous, une grande concurrence avec les séries américaines où les séries danoises ont un grand succès. Comment ça se passe chez vous? Le public est autant attiré par les séries danoises que par les séries américaines ou plus par les séries danoises?
I think that the audience is really attracted to the local, to the Danish series much more than the American series. Of course, we watch the American shows also, but the Danish series has so many viewers, so it can't be compared actually. So that's great.
Yeah, that's great.
We love seeing ourselves in TV series, I think.
Et les séries américaines sont diffusées en prime time ou vous les avez plutôt en deuxième partie de soirée?
They are often later. The Danish TV series are shown at 8 o'clock, and I think the American shows are around 10 or so, 9 and 10 in the evening, so they are later.
Ok. Vos séries, là on va parler de format, on va rentrer plus dans l'artistique, on va dire. Christian, particulièrement, je vais bientôt m'adresser à vous. Mais les formats de vos séries danoises sont en général de combien d'épisodes et de quelle durée?
We do 8 episodes per season, and I'm not even sure what the reason is. I think it came down to an economical decision. We only could afford 8, so we just ended up doing 8 episodes per season, and each episode is 42 minutes.
Et la diffusion, c'est un épisode par semaine, un épisode par soir en continu?
Yeah, one episode per week. We were on Thursday night at 8. Yeah.
Ok. Alors, maintenant, racontez-moi l'histoire de Rita. Et là, je m'adresse évidemment à vous, Christian, en tant que créateur de la série. Comment avez-vous eu cette idée de travailler sur l'éducation? Est-ce que vous avez commencé avec une idée précise sur un milieu, ou est-ce la personnalité de Rita que vous avez mis en place en premier?
It started with the character of Rita. I was really attracted to writing a female character that was around 40 and a mom, but still a teenager in her mind. I thought that was an interesting character, and as I started creating this and writing this character, obviously you start to think about what would be a good thematical link to what kind of world would she be in, and then it just sort of happened that, hey, a school teacher would be a fun setting for a character who was still a child herself. And then, of course, you start researching on the school arena and visit schools, and then it just develops, and you find out there's a lot of good stories to be told from a school setting. Yeah.
Ouais, vous avez raison, car l'éducation est tout de même un sujet complètement international, donc il touche pratiquement le monde entier. Donc c'était évidemment une très bonne idée de poser votre personnage dans le monde de l'éducation. Et à ce propos, vous nous expliquerez un petit peu plus tard comment ça se passe au Danemark, mais vous n'avez pas eu de problème avec votre diffuseur sur le contenu de la série. C'est quand même un personnage totalement politiquement incorrect, Rita.
She's very politically incorrect, and that's what makes it fun to write her, and makes it fun to act her, I think, and that's also what was attracting for the broadcast, for the network to show. Of course, we had some discussions once in a while. How far can she go? Definitely a scene like the one where they have a dinner in the garden, and she says, "Hey, no teaching your gay brother." That was a big discussion. They felt she went too far in that scene, and we felt that as long as she says, "Hey, I'm sorry," afterwards, we understand that it doesn't come from a bad place. So we definitely had some discussion about how far we could push the character. Not as much in terms of the school setting, but in terms of how far can we go with her own kids. How bad a mother can she be? And still have us wanting more of her. Yeah.
Alors, racontez-nous juste, on va dire, le timing de la création. Vous avez cette idée et ça se passe comment? Vous le présentez à vos producteurs, à la chaîne, et combien de temps cette aventure a mis pour se mettre en place?
I had a development deal with TV2 Denmark and got some time to sit and create a show, and I actually started up writing another show, an entirely different show, much more comedy, that they felt was too not commercial enough. And so I started creating this one instead, and I went ahead and just jumped in and wrote the pilot in a couple of weeks and showed it to them, and they really liked it, and we decided to team up with producers Jesper and Karoline, and pretty soon we got the green light for a pilot and started the casting process and looking for a director and those sort of things.
Vous avez une façon de travailler qui est quand même très particulière, car vous avez écrit les 8 épisodes presque tout seul. Je dis presque. C'est très lourd, 8 épisodes, c'est tout de même.
I like writing. I had a co-writer on 2 of the episodes on season 1, but I like writing it all by myself. It's a wonderful jet. I'm a writer. I like writing. So as long as I have the time to write everything myself, then I see no reason to bring in 5 other writers to do it for me. Obviously, when we went to season 2, we had less time, and I brought in some writers because we needed to be finished. But as long as we have time, and I would say about a month per episode to write, then we'll be fine. Yeah, I enjoy writing it.
Incroyable, hein? Un mois pour un épisode, c'est incroyable. Vous travaillez beaucoup d'heures par jour, je suppose.
Yeah, but I don't know. Do I work many hours a day? I guess I do. But I mean, I think it's pretty standard. We have 2 weeks to do a first draft, 1 week to do a second draft, 1 week to do a final draft, and And it's been storyline before that, so maybe if you're counting the storylining and the corrections, maybe it's 5 or 6 weeks per episode. But I think it's doable in a month. You can do that. Yeah.
Ensuite, en tant que créateur, vous avez donc fait ce travail de showrunner. Vous avez suivi la série avec Jesper et Karoline, et je suppose quelqu'un de la chaîne, enfin, un membre du broadcast a dû également vous accompagner. C'est évidemment pas envisageable pour vous d'abandonner à un moment donné votre série complètement. Vous êtes un réel créateur, vous avez besoin de la suivre jusqu'au bout, n'est-ce pas, si j'ai bien compris. Et particulièrement puisque les réalisateurs changent. Ce n'est pas le même réalisateur qui a mis en scène toute la série. Et donc vous êtes le lien aussi avec les réalisateurs.
Yes, it's the way it's done on most TV series. One director wouldn't have the time to direct it all, so the one person that really is in the process from A to Z is the head writer, the showrunner. We were very fortunate. We had an excellent director who was able to direct the first 3 episodes and then the last 2 episodes. So we only had the 3 episodes in the middle directed by, and so we only had 1 episode director brought in. That makes it a lot easier than if you change director every episode. Yeah.
Et donc, on va parler de nos 2 amis comédiens qui sont formidables. Le choix du casting s'est fait aussi par l'équipe créative, hein, plus que par les réalisateurs, si j'ai bien compris votre façon de travailler. Donc, vous avez été contacté, Mille, pour ce projet, et on vous a donné 1, 2, 3 scripts à lire.
Well, I think we were doing like 2 or 3 castings on two or three different scenes, and then they picked me. That was great.
Et ils ont très bien fait.
Yeah, because you know, when I read the script, I was thrilled about Christian's writing, and I was, I mean, the description of Rita was so precise, and I just, you know, fell in love with her immediately, because, you know, it's been interesting playing this edgy, masculine, politically incorrect woman who's also actually a very passionate teacher, and which is a pain in the ass for the school principal and the other teachers and the parents, but the students love her, basically because she's a child like him. So the first episode is actually about Rita becoming an adult, or at least trying to.
Vous aviez eu avant l'occasion de jouer des personnages aussi complexes, où c'est une des premières fois que vous affrontez un personnage aussi ambigu, compliqué et au bord de la ligne jaune pratiquement tout le temps.
Well, it's my first time. Well, it is. I've played some years ago. I played another main character in a TV series called Nous, which is a kind of Danish version of Bridget Jones' Diary. So this is a totally different character of a woman, yeah, who is a little confused, wanting to you know, get a love life. So this has been a totally different character, and I think much more interesting to play and get to know.
Merci. Et vous, Carsten, vous avez été emballé également immédiatement par ce rôle de principal de collège un peu lâche et en même temps voilà, on ne va pas dévoiler la suite parce qu'il faut que tout le monde puisse voir la suite de la série, mais c'était évidemment, j'imagine, une rencontre avec ce personnage aussi assez merveilleuse, non?
It's not often that a man gets a chance to play the leading lady, so immediately when I was asked, I said yes. And also I wanted to work with Lars, the director, who's not here, unfortunately. He just had a child, so he's not here. But yeah, I was thrilled at first. Yeah.
On va revenir un peu à la production et à la fabrication donc, de cette série. Vous m'avez dit que vous aviez fabriqué une saison 2. Racontez-moi comment ça se passe. Rita, saison 1 a été diffusée, vous êtes mis tout de suite à l'écriture de la saison 2 ou comment ça se passe au Danemark? On attend d'abord le rating avant de vous passer commande?
The network will have to broadcast the entire series, all 8 episodes, before they order a pickup. Then we get some smaller fee to storyline season 2, and then when they've seen the storylines and approved the storylines, they will greenlight the entire season. But only after they know the through line, the story arc of the next season. And when they approve that, then if the ratings were good enough, we'll get a season pickup.
Et si on vous greenlightait, si on vous autorisait, si on vous passait commande plus tôt, vous pourriez en écrire un peu plus ou anticiper les saisons? C'est comme ça que vous aimeriez travailler ou finalement ce système de vous donner l'autorisation après la diffusion vous convient?
The earlier we're greenlighted, the better, because then we have a chance to finish the scripts. It makes it a lot easier for production to break down the scripts and plan everything. It makes it a lot easier for the actor and more fun for the actor to know, to have been able to read the last episode before shooting the first one, so they can construct a journey for the characters. Unfortunately, we don't always have the time for that. We would love to, but we try the best we can to have finished as much as possible, but we don't always have everything ready.
Et vous aimeriez emmener Rita sur combien de saisons? Je suis sûre que vous avez un dessin à peu près précis de ce que vous aimeriez faire avec cette série.
Yeah, I think when I started out, I had a plan for the first 3 seasons, and the rest is sort of, hey, let's take it from there. I'm sure I'll come up with something new if we keep going. But the story I had in my head was for the first 3 seasons when we started it. Yeah.
Alors, maintenant, je vais vous poser quelques petites questions plus techniques. Vous avez combien de jours par épisode de tournage? Combien de jours de tournage par épisode?
For the first season, we had 9 days per episode, and actually we had 3 extra days where we were reshooting some of it. For the second season that we just finished here in February, we had 8 days per episode as a kind of award from the TV station because they liked the series so much that they wanted to do a second season. So they said, then you have to do it in 8 days. So we have been running very fast, and I'm sure the two of you really know it because you have been running fast. So 9 days per episode for the first season and 8 days as an award for the second season.
The working days in Denmark are only 8 hours, so I assume you're used to 12 hours here in France?
No, we're shooting 8 hours.
Oh, okay, also
as
8,
you are.
so that's the same. Okay, but it's 8 hours a day for 9 and 8 days.
And we have no time for overtime. No money at all.
C'est intéressant ce phénomène donc, que je découvre européen. Plus une série fonctionne et plus elle plaît au public et moins on a d'argent pour la produire. C'est étrange, mais c'est ainsi. Et ensuite, le temps de montage, et vous êtes autorisé un long temps de montage ou au contraire un temps de montage assez court pour être à l'antenne assez tôt?
We have, I think, 6 weeks for the first 2 episodes, and then 5 weeks for the last 6 episodes. So that's what we have been editing.
C'est très bien monté d'ailleurs. Je ne sais pas si vous aviez beaucoup discuté auparavant, mais j'imagine que oui, sur le rythme de la série. Il y a quelque chose de très, très évident entre les dialogues de Christian, écrits par Christian, et le rythme de la série. Vous féliciterez le monteur. C'est très bien. Donc vous nous avez dit qu'il y a eu 2 réalisateurs. Et puis, voilà, le coût moyen d'un épisode est environ de combien au Danemark? Je vois.
550,000 euros per episodes, approximately.
Et vous êtes financé de quelle façon? Ces 500 000 euros par épisode sont financés de quelle façon?
We had funding from the TV station, of course, is the biggest one, but we actually had, at the first season, we had funding from the government, from the Ministry of Culture. Quite big funding, actually. But at the second season, the TV station paid it all. So that's it. It's a very simple financing.
Et vous avez commencé à vendre la série à l'étranger?
Yes, we did. But we did that after the show was finished, actually, with a sales agent. The TV station, TV2 Denmark, is supposed to sell the series, and they wanted to sell it for just the Scandinavian countries in the beginning, but they didn't manage, really. They didn't really, did a good job on that one. So afterwards, they were like, oh, this series is good, people outside of Denmark love it. So there was a little, surprised, I think, actually. But now it's going very well, both as a remake and as selling the show, dubbing and subtitling it. Actually, Christian, you should tell a little about the remake in the US. I think that's...
We sold the remake rights to the US, and we just shot a pilot in Vancouver in March. With a very strong crew and cast over there. We had Miguel Arteta, a brilliant director, directed, and Anna Gunn from Breaking Bad plays Rita. And so that was interesting. It came out exceptionally close to the Danish pilot. It's a little bit freaky to watch it because it's the same shots, it's the same lines, and it's just Anna instead of Mille, but she's wearing the same clothes. But yeah, that was an interesting process.
Vous avez un secret, les Danois, je ne sais pas lequel, mais peut-être vous n'aurez pas envie de nous le révéler aujourd'hui, mais vous produisez peu de séries et elles sont très connues et très appréciées dans le reste de l'Europe, j'allais dire, mais je découvre qu'on ne se bloque pas à l'Europe. C'est quoi votre secret sur l'écriture, puisqu'il s'agit avant toute chose d'écriture et évidemment ensuite d'interprétation? C'est quoi votre secret?
Maybe the secret is that so few shows are produced. So they have to, there's a strong competition. If you want a show produced in a country that only produces 3 shows a year, you have to step up. You have to really do a standout script in order to get a production order.
And there are a lot of shows being put into development, still. So the competition is really there are a lot of shows being put into development, and then they pick out very few shows. So they are good. Yeah, competition is hard.
Vous avez une idée du nombre de séries en développement par an qui ne sont pas produites, donc juste une idée si vous en avez une.
Well, we know right now that our 3rd season of Rita is in competition with I think 5, 6, 7 other shows in development, and a couple of shows that are already has run for the 1st season, and so there are some competition, and that's only obviously in TV2 Denmark, who is our network, our broadcaster.
Donc une très forte compétition aussi donc, chez vous, mais l'addiction du public est là. Donc si la saison 2 fonctionne, il n'y a pas de raison, j'imagine qu'elle n'est pas diffusée encore en Danemark. Oui, la saison 2 a été diffusée. Non. Donc si la saison 2 fonctionne, logiquement, le public demandera une saison 3.
Yes, they are, hopefully. Well, we'll see. We still have to see when they air it here in the fall what the numbers will be. But obviously, if the numbers keep rising or keep this level, season will be on the third season. It will be fun to write a third season. There's still a lot of interesting places to take this character. Yeah.
Bon, en tous les cas, je souhaite longue vie à Rita. Je ne sais pas si vous voulez ajouter quelque chose ou si des questions vont surgir. Oui.
Bonjour. J'aurais voulu savoir, votre série, vous m'avez dit qu'elle va être vendue aux États-Unis. Pourquoi ce ne sont pas les mêmes acteurs? Pourquoi on change, enfin, si j'ai bien compris, ce ne sera pas les mêmes acteurs aux États-Unis, et pourquoi on change d'acteur? Enfin, pourquoi on ne garde pas la même série et on ne la diffuse pas aux États-Unis telle qu'elle?
I think a series in the United States is so expensive. I mean, if we shoot the pilot here and do it for €550,000, the pilot in the United States will cost about $5 million. So the network will want a big star attached to it to make sure that it generates money. And Mille, as wonderful as she is not a star in America. Anna Gunn is, and I'm guessing that language is also an issue. They will want someone who is perfect English speaking. They don't want to dub the shows or subtitle the shows. They will want their own version of it. So I think at heart it's an economical decision. They want someone with star power to draw in viewers and who will look, on a poster and go, oh, it's the girl from Breaking Bad who plays this part now. But I would love it if it was Mille. That would be amazing.
But I guess it's actually, it's really a question for the American networks and not us, because we are really not involved in the US remake of Rita. Christian is over there when they have been shooting, but they have totally 100% decision over how to remake it, and they can reuse what they want to reuse, and they can dump what they want to dump.
They can pretty much do, when they buy the rights to do anything with the concept. They could make Rita an alien if they wanted to. Wouldn't make sense, but they could do it.
En anglais, en français, du coup, les questions. Okay. First question, you said it was sold to some other countries. Has it been sold to France?
It's been sold to France. The Danish version will be shown on Canal+, and I think remake rights has been sold to a production company also.
A small production company is trying to do the remake and make a package exactly as they do in the US, finding out, talking to a network and finding out which network and who's going to play it. So yeah, and then it has been, we are Germany and Holland and very many places actually, both the show sold and then the remake. So it's quite good for Rita abroad.
Hello? Yeah. The question was very selfish about whether we could watch it on TV here, because it was very nice and enjoyable. Second question is, it's happening in a school. Did that mean special rules, special limits for the writing part?
Yes, it did, because children are not professional actors, and in a school there's supposed to be a ton of children, but we cannot afford to have a ton of children running around in school. So I would have maybe 1 or 2 scenes per episode taking place in the classroom with kids, and the rest would be on hallways just with extras, or in the teacher's lounge, or outside. So there was definitely some economical aspect of not writing too many scenes in classrooms, and also in terms of acting, it's difficult to get good child actors, and you don't want to give them too long lines or too difficult scenes. You really want to put the emphasis on the adult characters, and then try to just have the children react instead of saying long pages of dialogue.
Yes, but what about the fact that the main character is politically incorrect? So that's related to education, or children might cause some, moral issues or whatever. Do you have that problem with the audience in Denmark?
I think that most people understand that even if she is politically incorrect and has her own ways, and if she's aggressive, that at heart she wants what is best for the kids. Even the girl here in the pilot, the young girl, Rita in her own way tries to help her, and I think as long as the audience understand that she tries to do her best, they will accept it. They will accept any shortcomings or failures from her as long as she tries. And obviously a good way to help her along is create, as we do in some of the later episodes, some teachers that doesn't even try, that just doesn't care anymore. So when you have a teacher that doesn't care and a teacher that cares, but maybe is a little too much, then you still root for the teacher who is trying.
Okay, last question. What would be your limits in what you can show that could be incorrect, politically incorrect? Do you have limits? And how do you find them? Or do you know them?
I know them when I write them. I can feel it if I'm writing a scene and I write some line of dialogue that becomes too much. I just I cringe myself. I don't know. I try to not have any rules about what I can and cannot do. I find them limiting. I think that you can do all themes if you do them right. In season 2, we had an episode where a teacher hits a child, which is, at least in Denmark, illegal and wrong in every way. But I think it became a beautiful episode. So if you could do all sort of themes, as long as you do them, handle them with care.
Is your question also about what we are allowed to do for the network, in primetime Danish television? Because of course there are limits. I mean, especially regarding the sex thing. We had quite a bit of sex in the first season. Like you see in episode 1. No nudity or nakedness, but that was an issue for the network. I mean.
I'm remembering actually that I was called from the network and they said, could you please for the next, the last 5 episodes, tell us how many times she's having sex. And I had to watch it all, and then I figured out that our resumes in the beginning, we used the sex to show Rita loves this man, this man, this man, and every time in the start of the episode we had a lot of sex. So I wrote a long list for them because they were totally scared.
And it is a commercial station, and it is, prime time. I mean, it wouldn't be a problem if it was 10 o'clock, it was screened, but it is 8 o'clock, so yeah, it's family prime time, and it's 20% of the Danish population who is watching this show. So, I mean, there are limits in that way, but actually, I mean, yeah.
I hope that Rita doesn't become too adult in the next episodes.
Oh, and, she doesn't, don't worry.
And for the quality of the show, tack.
Bonjour, merci d'abord, félicitations pour cette série qui est très pleine de promesses. C'est très encourageant de voir des belles choses comme ça. J'avais une question pour Christian. parce que Charline vous a demandé en fait le secret des séries danoises et j'ai l'impression qu'elles sont vraiment, enfin de ce que j'ai lu, elles sont produites très différemment de... Moi je viens de Suisse, pas de France, mais de Suisse, où les auteurs, créateurs sont au centre, comme vous l'avez relevé, et sont ainsi payés aussi, en étant au centre. Et en France, je crois, et en Suisse, le développement est très peu ou mal payé. Et j'avais entendu un intervenant danois à un autre festival dire que les auteurs étaient payés à l'année, par exemple, par les boîtes de production, pour pas devoir faire autre chose en attendant des réponses. Et est-ce que c'est votre cas?
And no, I work on a per episode basis, or I'll get a contract for the storylining of the season, and then when the pickup order for the season comes in, I will get a contract for all the 8 episodes. So I don't work on a yearly retainer, but I did when I developed this show. On some of the other shows I sat at home and developed them for free, just as so many people does. But on this show, I had a development deal with TV2, with the Danish network.
Yeah, but the interesting thing, Christian, is that right now you're not paid. You know, we are just waiting, and actually I think that TV2 Denmark is kind of counting on the passion for the series, you know.
That's true.
Because you could, you know, if you had another job, you're not there. And they're not really, and the same goes for the actors. We are not capable of paying the actors for waiting for see if we're going to make a 3rd season. So I think that they really count on our passion for this show, and we have it. But but it is really a little weird, because that was in the beginning. You were working there and having a long contract, but now we're just waiting for them to decide, and then we're ready.
But obviously having the development deal is a huge privilege. It's an amazing thing to be able to be paid to develop TV and take the time to do it without having to do another job on the side.
J'ai pas posé la question tout à l'heure, et pardon, mais l'écriture représente quel pourcentage dans les 500 000 euros par épisode? L'écriture. You have to come. Yeah. The average.
I think it would be
5% or something.
Yeah, of the 550,000 euro per episode, one episode the script would cost 20,000 euro,
Yeah.
I think, something like that. Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah.
Et pour votre travail de showrunner, indépendamment de l'écriture, vous êtes également payé. Je suis désolée de rentrer dans ces questions indiscrètes, mais vous m'avez lancé sur le chemin. Vous êtes aussi payé en tant que showrunner pour tout ce temps que ça vous prend pendant tout le suivi de la production.
I get paid for that, yes. It's not the major part of my paycheck, but I do get a fee for being in the editing room and overseeing the process, yes.
One question. Congratulations to you all, because it's a tremendous Syrian work, so bravo to you all. With a special congrats to Mille. You're great in this playing Rita's character. Am I mistaken if I think that I saw you in Bohan, where you play a second role? Am I right? Or it's very different. So it was very interesting for me to see you there. So I can see also that you enjoy very much playing this part. I have 2 specific questions. I am a producer and I'm sitting here with the 2 authors I'm working with. One question is for Karoline. Do you believe in European co-pro? And one question is for Christian. Do you believe in European co-writing? And could you be interested?
I believe in co-pros, definitely. I think we should really try to, and actually I might go into Christian's area now, because I really think it could be so funny starting up a co-pro where you started with the content, where you started with the idea, going out, putting a French writer and a Danish writer together, or a German writer, or a Danish writer, whatever, together from start, and then develop an idea from the very beginning. That could be very interesting, where both countries and both languages could be merged. That could be very interesting, I think.
So I guess, and Christian will answer after that, but the second question is, we can maybe have a coffee together right after the session.
Sure.
And in terms of writing, funny thing, when we started doing this show back in Denmark, TV2, the Danish network, didn't want to sell it outside of Scandinavia because they thought that it was not a universal show, it was just a specifically Danish show. But if there's one thing I believe, it's that there's no such thing as a specific nationality show. If the character is well constructed and strong and well played, he or she will translate to any audience anywhere. So yes, obviously I do very much believe in co-productions, and it would be an interesting thing to do. Yeah, very definitely.
Thank you very much.
Bonjour. Je me demandais en fait si, mais c'est peut-être une question pour les Français, mais si une série, enfin, est-ce que, enfin, peut-être vous savez, à quelle heure Canal+ projette de, bon c'est une chaîne privée, mais je me demande si une chaîne française passerait cette série à 20h en prime time, à cause des scènes de sexe, comme vous l'avez dit, ou des mentions directes à l'homosexualité de cette manière, avec la scène du bris, enfin, des choses comme ça.
Je ne sais pas pour l'instant, mais je vois pas. Il ne me semble pas qu'il y ait beaucoup de différence avec Borgia ou Maison Close.
Mais c'est sur une chaîne publique, sur.
Non, mais en l'occurrence, il s'agit de Canal+.
Oui, oui, mais comme ils pensent faire un remake, je pense pas que c'est pour Canal+ de nouveau.
Je ne sais pas, pourquoi pas. Je pense que les droits de remake ont été achetés avant que la vente à Canal ne soit faite. Voilà. Non, c'est correct.
Yes. My name is Joachim, and I would like to ask Christian a question. When I saw the first episode yesterday, I thought it was a bit of a genre mix. You have this, what do you call some kind of love relation comedy, and when I read the log line, it's kind of dark drama behind Rita, and then you have some kind of screwball and comedy elements with a new teacher and stuff like that. So I wonder how did you think about the genre and the mix of them when you wrote?
I always say that if you want to do a comedy, make sure it's serious, and if you want to do a drama, make sure it's funny. I like to mix those two things and play them up against each other, and it's definitely a mix. And if you ask me what the genre is, the answer is I don't know. It seems to be different from country to country. In some countries it's a dark drama, and in some countries it's a comedy. I know back at home we market it as a drama with a comedic edge. I will say though that the pilot is probably the one that has most comedy elements in it. As the story progresses, it gets increasingly darker and more dramatic as the season progresses.
Okay, if I could follow up with a question then to Mille and Carsten. How is this genre mix affecting your playing your parts, or does it affect your ways of playing?
Well, I guess the short answer to that would be no. Do you want me to take the long one? No. Of course, we talked about balancing out between the comedy and the drama part, also in the acting. And we wanted kind of comedy that wasn't really comedy, that was underplayed. So we tried not to go with the comedy, but to actually act out the situations, and then through that, the comedy would rise.
I totally agree.
Okay, thank you.
D'autres questions? Bon, bah, merci à vous, vraiment, et bravo, parce que c'est une magnifique série. Vraiment, on a tous, je pense, ici, très envie de voir la suite. Donc on va attendre avec anxiété l'heure de diffusion sur Canal+, et quand. Et puis je vous souhaite évidemment une 3e saison, peut-être même une 4e. Et bravo aux comédiens, parce que franchement, c'est du très 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 bon travail. C'est un secret.